Hello, social welfare and policy class. This presentation is going to discuss the AB 403 Foster Youth Continuum of Care Reform. For the purpose of this presentation, we will refer to the Continuum of Care Reform as CCR. So KDA versus Bonte settlement first brought the attention to the mistreatment of foster youth and neglect of foster youth in group homes. The proper name for group home is congregated care institutions. But again, for the purpose of this PowerPoint, we will refer to congregated care institutions as group home to avoid confusion. So this is a quick overview of what we are going to be discussing today. So it is the summary, policy defined goals of the reform, STRTPs, issues, successes, recommendations, conclusion, and references. So according to the summary, we are going to be touching on some issues such as the mistreatment of youth in group homes, goal of the reform, implementations of the policy, and recommendations. So the act is designed to improve California's child welfare system and its outcomes by using a comprehensive initial child assessment, increase the use of home-based family care in the provision of services and support to home-based family care. So CCR reform puts together different ideas of already existing and new reforms to our child welfare service program, designed with the understanding that children who live apart from their bio parents do best when they are cared for in a family home environment setting. The CCR reform provides policy framework to ensure the support and services provided to youth and their families are geared towards the ultimate goal. So the ultimate goal of the reform is to includes a stable and permanent family. Those who meet the qualifications of the group home still have the support of short-term therapeutic programs, but they are used less often than before. So some of the goals discussed are to provide normalcy, provide better, more appropriate care and services for foster children, reduce time spent in group homes, provide mental health treatment for children, and have children live in a committed, nurturing, and permanent family, and as well as to end institutionalization of youth. So I think it's a good idea to get a better idea of what short-term therapeutic programs are. Group homes will primarily use STRTPs to provide intensive treatment interventions. Number 2, treatment will be designed to quickly transition youth back to their own or another permanent family. And 3, facilities seeking to transition group homes to STRTPs will need licensure and meet higher standards of care and be accredited and be able to deliver or arrange for a set of core services, including mental health services that children need. So it does come with some issues of the policy. The policy looks great at face value, but does contain a number of issues when it comes to the transition of group homes. The policy required a statewide shutdown of group homes that did not comply with the STRTP licensure and guidelines. This left a lot of youth to be misplaced. Social workers have struggled to transition with their group homes to STRTPs because they felt like their group homes were already complying with the standards of the reform. Some social workers described the new paperwork standards as tedious, time-consuming, and exhausting. Some group homes were unable to meet the standards and had to close down. However, there are some successes with the reform. Some successes include the incentivizing of group homes to close, transforming group homes to STRTPs, implementing more mental health practices, and minimizing stays in STRTPs. I think it's also important to note that California has recognized the errors in the reform and is currently working on understanding the problem and is looking to create support to increase more positive outcomes. So some recommendations is to enhance training for STRP caseworkers, current and new, increase wages of foster families and STRP caseworkers and resource families, evaluate STRTP workers and FFA providers of their performance, utilize a client satisfaction survey and capture the perception of youth being served, and to create a method for ensuring public transparency of provider performance. In conclusion, the mistreatment of foster youth is unacceptable. Abuse and runaway is inappropriate for a vulnerable population that has already undergone so much trauma. The continuum of care reform is a fairly new process that will need time, adjustment, and the best way to go about this is to really listen to the feedback being provided by the state and youth affected. The CCR reform is a great policy, and I'm excited to see how it will turn out in the next couple of years. These are my references, and thank you. Bye.